Okay, so let's take these conversions and flip around the other direction. So let's take a mixed number and convert it into an improper fraction. So again, I had sort of said before, mixed numbers tend to be a little bit easier to kind of visualize where they fall on the number line, how big they are. And then your improper fractions, you kind of need that form to do different fraction math with. If you're going to sort of do any kind of multiplication or division with your fractions, you kind of need them to be in improper form. So we're going to kind of use both of these as we go throughout the course. I picked, let me see if I can stick with the ones I picked earlier. So let's do 6 2/5, just a positive value. So to do the conversion this way, essentially what we're doing is we're kind of working our long division in reverse, right? And so the sort of form and the way people do this a lot of times is you would take your denominator, multiply it by the whole number. What you're doing there, right, is you're saying, okay, so I've got 6 whole, and I'm sort of then conceptualizing it in terms of, one whole breaks up into 5 parts. So for every one, I get 5. So if you've got 6 whole, and you're going to break each one whole into 5, you're going to have 6 times 5, which in this case would be 30 sort of extra parts out of 5. So this is going to become 6 times 5, right, which is 30. And then you're going to add to that the other parts that you already had, so plus the 2 up top. And then the whole thing is divided by the original denominator, which is 5. So what we're doing, I sometimes think of this almost like a little bit of a swoop around, right? So 6, right, times the 5, and then you add it to the 2. So this for us, right, becomes 30 plus 2 out of 5, which is obviously going to be 32/5. And so that's what we're going to end up with, right? So sort of a multiply by the whole number, your denominator by the whole number, add it to the numerator that you already had, and that's going to be your result. The one thing here that sometimes catches people up is, so if you have, so what was our other example? -4 3/4. So if you have a negative value here, do the same thing we did before. Just totally ignore the negative. So as you're doing this setup, don't think of this as 4 times -4 plus 3. Right, that would sort of give you a -16 plus 3 would be a -13. It's going to mess up your numbers because it makes them too small. This is really conceptually, right, this is the negative version of 4 3/4. It's not a -4 and a positive 3/4. It's the whole thing is negative, right? So what this means is you're just going to have kind of one negative, and then you can sort of do all of your operations, right? So then this is going to be 4 times 4. Plus the 3, right? All over the original 4. So it's one negative sort of whole value. This would be, right, 16 and 3. Over 4. So then this kind of final version would be the negative version, 19 over 4. So that's, 4 whole and then 3/4 of another, right? 4 3/4. So that gets us to 19 total quarters. In this case, a -19, but again, positive or negative, it doesn't really matter so much there, the sign. It's going to stay consistent. None of this process, these conversions, is going to change us from a positive to a negative or vice versa. So we'll just run that and we'll be all set.